Welcome back to another episode of Countdown to Retirement as I count down to retirement in June 2019. 9 months to go, including the current month of October. Today is October 7th, it's a Sunday, and time for another book update video. So what did I purchase this week? So the first 6 books I'm going to show you were purchased at Strand outside, where they have inexpensive books for sale. So I picked up The Mask of Command by John Keegan, $1. Nice condition, softcover book. Chapters in here include Alexander the Great, Wellington, Ulysses S. Grant, Hitler, and some other materials in here. So, or I should say chapters. Looks interesting, got some good reviews. Also $1 outside. It's the best of the best 20 years of the year's best science fiction. And it is edited by Gardner. I'm not sure how you say the last name. Dozois. Dozius? Not really sure. $1. This was a very nice find. The Last Best Place. A Montana anthology. Edited by William Kittredge and Anik Smith. The big thick book, $1, and it's got lots of short chapters, reminiscences about Montana history, from everything from Native Americans to, I'm not really sure when it ends. It probably goes into the 20th century, but it looks very good. I actually have this in hardcover, but this is nice to have in a softcover for $1 as a reading copy. Good find. Then I picked up the Civil War Journal, The Legacies. This is volume 3, I think, in a 3-volume series. It's edited by William Davis, Brian Pohanka, and Don Troiani. I put the nice broad art clear sleeve on the book. Keep it in nice shape. That was $2, and this also was $2. This is a Time Life Civil War book. It's the master index to the series and an illustrated guide. I wouldn't have gotten it if it was just the index only, but there's some 2 nice photographic essays in here. And so for $2, it seemed like a good purchase. And then, yesterday we went to a bookstore in Long Island. Don't really find a lot at this store, but sometimes you get lucky, you find an item. This is Lakota Trail on Man Afraid of His Horses, a book by, I think it's pronounced Carrie, I'm not really sure, Kaare, last name Vassenden, Vassenden. It was $5. It's a little thin book, but it's very hard to find, and got some nice pictures in here. I don't know how valid it is. It's like an oral history. It just seemed interesting to get for $5, a nice little unique item, and it's rare. So that's it for this first week of October. Hard to believe we're already 1 week down, and time's going fast, but I hope it, I want to get to retirement, but I don't want my life to fly by, so it's kind of like two things going on at once. Like, let's go, come on, June, and the other one's like, let's just slow down a little bit. I do look forward to the end of June and retiring. Till next time, take care. It's Sunday, October 14th, and time for another book update video. Here goes. So first we'll start with what I'm going to call This Week at Strand. So I picked up, I guess it's 8 books here. And these are outside where they sell inexpensive books, but if you go every day, you can get lucky and find some nice books. So I got this paperback, Under the City of Angels by Jerry Earl Brown. And it's got a really cool cover. It's a little bit hard to see here, but they're underwater. It's kind of like a sci-fi book. Looked interesting. It was only about 50 cents, so great shape. Take a chance. And this looked interesting. I don't know why. It's I'm spreading out a little bit in what I read. But this is by Thornton Wilder, Theophilus North, and it does have some good reviews. It's a well-known book. Wasn't well-known to me, but it's like pretty much brand new, sitting out there. They don't put the books in the bags, by the way. I do that. But for 50 cents, nice book like that, I'll take a chance. And then I was surprised to find this outside. Ship of the Line by C.S. Forester. This is a Horatio Hornblower novel. I have it, but I don't know if I have it with this cover. I have to check. But again, it was like pretty much brand new outside. This was $1. Civil War National Battlefield Parks. As I was saying, this is National Geographic Guide to the Civil War National Battlefield Parks. It's nice condition, pretty much brand new. It's got maps, some pictures inside. And then Virgin Land by Henry Nash Smith. The Alamo by John Myers Myers. Quite the name, but that's what it is, John Myers Myers. I have this book. I think I have it with a different cover. It was only $1. It was like brand new. I can't help it. I buy stuff I already have. And this was a cool find. It was also hard to find because it's so thin. Geronimo, a biography. And this is by Mark Gardner. Gardner. And online, this, even though it's very thin, I guess it's rare. And it was selling for a lot more than the $1 I bought it for. It's like brand new. I always, whenever I see, excuse me, I have a little cough. Whenever I see books on the racks outside and they're like the little skinny books, I always pull them out just to see what they are because you never know what you're going to find. And this is a book that I had purchased, actually not purchased, had gotten for free at the book thing in Baltimore, but it was in soft cover and it wasn't in bad shape, but I wanted to get a nice copy in hardcover. And so this is The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. And this was $2. Okay, next up, we went yesterday to New Jersey, went to 3 used bookstores, and I bought books in each store. I came home with 29 books. So with the other 8 that I had from Strand, 29, 8, so it's 37 books I got this last week. That's quite a bit. I'm just out of my mind with these books. So in no particular order, and they're all mixed up, but this is what I purchased yesterday. And it's not store by store, it's just as I organize them here. So this is a trilogy. Westward, Expedition, and Outpost, which I had found recently. Was it at Strand? I'm not sure where I was, but I had purchased, I think, this book recently. But they had all 3 yesterday. They were like brand new. Half off the cover price, so they were not too bad. I'm not even sure what the price is here. Well, I won't waste my time with that right now. But I was glad to find that. And there's another trilogy that follows that trilogy, I think with the same characters. So got to keep my eye out for those. Then Mike Blakely, Shortgrass Song. Now, for some reason, I thought I didn't have this, but I did. So it'll just be a reading copy. I have a list online with all my books, but sometimes I don't look it up if I'm like in my mind I'm pretty sure I don't have it. But I've got most everything now on planet Earth. Well, okay, that's an exaggeration, but I have a lot of books. David William Ross, Savage Plains. I did try to read one of his books a few years ago that I actually quit reading. I have to give it a try again. He does have a few westerns or I don't want to say westerns like cowboy kind of stuff, but Native American themed novels in the Old West, we'll call it. And I keep buying them when I see them, but I really didn't love what I had read that time. And I don't remember what that book was called right now, but maybe anyway, even if I didn't like that, maybe the other ones are good. So, and I get them pretty much cheap enough not to have to worry about it. It's just space that's an issue. This looked pretty interesting. River of Destiny by Pat Winter. This takes place, I guess, maybe in the I'm not sure if it's at the 16 or 1700s. And there's like a French explorer and an Indian woman, and just an interesting book. I like the cover. And by the way, I just realized that the something I wanted to explain. Hold on a second. Okay, I had to get some books here again that I showed just a few moments ago. So these three books here are written by an author named Dana Fuller Ross, Dana. Now, some people think Dana is a woman, but actually Dana is a man, and it's also a pen name. So originally it was the pen name of Noel, Noel Gerson, Gerson. He died, and then James Reasoner, another author who's a bit prolific the same way that Noel Gerson was, he picked up the name, and he wrote this trilogy using Noel Gerson's original pen name. And then after writing this trilogy, he wrote another one with the same characters, so I have to find those. So it's just a little interesting backstory to those books. Continuing, Bill Gulick, The Moon-Eyed Appaloosa. He's a somewhat well-known Western author from, I guess, the 50s or 60s. Also wrote a history book about the Nez Perce. And Douglas C. Jones, author of Gone, the Dreams and Dancing. It's a cool cover. I think I have this, but it was cheap and nice cover. And A Sorrow in Our Heart, The Life of Tecumseh by Alan W. Eckert. This I do have. I think it was 50 cents. Yeah, it was 50 cents. Big, thick book, so it'll be a reading copy. There's more. Okay, these next 5 books were all purchased in the same store, and they were $2 each. These are from around 1960, 61, somewhere in that time frame. These are Mike Shane mystery novels by Brett Halliday, who was a pen name. I think his name was something Dresser, Davis Dresser. And then other people took over for him, the same way that happened with Noel Gerson, with James Reasoner taking over. So these are also covers by Robert McGinnis, who's a very well-known artist, and that's pretty much why I purchased them, the covers. Although I do want to read them, and they do look like they're good books. But this is a Marked for Murder. Murder and the Married Virgin. Dolls Are Deadly. Death Has Three Lives. And The Corpse Came Calling. I have some of these titles already, but I don't know if I have those covers. And they were just so nice, I couldn't say no, especially for $2 each. Okay, next. I always wondered about this book, and seeing it yesterday, I thought, what the hell, let me get it. Planet of the Apes by Pierre, I guess you say, I'm not sure how you say it, Boulle or Boulle, Boulle. I'm sure it's different from the movie, hopefully it's better, but it's a short book. So, then I have a few books by this author, Dudley Pope. This is Ramage and the Freebooters, kind of like a copy of Horatio Hornblower. Merrill's Marauders. This is not that this book was made into a movie, but there was a movie, Merrill's Marauders, which I remember watching as a kid. I think that was a pretty cool movie. If I'm not right, don't quote me on this, but was it Jeff Chandler in that movie? I don't remember, but it was a nice condition paperback. This book I have with, I think it might have a different cover. I'm not positive, but it was in really great shape. It was cheap. The Execution of Private Slovic by William Bradford, Huie. Huey? Not sure how you say it. That's a World War II book. This I have, but it was 50 cents, and it's fine to bring on the train, bring on a trip, whatever. Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. And then Sense and Sensibility, Again, 50 cents. It was like brand new. And last, Don Quixote. Here we go with the rest. The Sharp End, The Fighting Man in World War II by John Ellis. Hardcover, it's in great shape. It's signed inside. Well, I shouldn't say signed. Whoever owned it wrote his name, LTC, which means Lieutenant Colonel, I believe. And he wrote Charles Carney. And I looked up on Google yesterday, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Carney. There happened to be a lot of Charles Carneys, and I couldn't find anyone who was a Lieutenant Colonel. Of course, his grade in the Army or wherever this is might have changed. Maybe he retired a general, I don't know. But there was just a lot of Charles Carneys. I couldn't figure out who it was. But this is his book. White Devil, a true story of war, savagery, and vengeance in colonial America by Stephen Brumwell. And this book is about George Rogers Clark. Well, it's the French and Indian War, and it is Robert Rogers, not George Rogers. Robert Rogers and his Rangers. I knew there was a Rogers in there. This book I have in hardcover. I've never seen it in softcover. Didn't even know that it was available. The Treaty of Medicine Lodge by Douglas C. Jones, 1867. That takes place. This was kind of cool. I didn't know that it even existed. It's just a blue or a teal color hardcover book, skinny, and it's something I have in softcover, but this is really cool. It was only $3. Rank and Warfare Among the Plains Indians by Bernard Mishkin. And this is Monographs of the American Ethnological Society. It's book number 3. It was originally published, what I'm holding in my hand, University of Washington Press. And this printing is from 1973. It was $3. I thought that was a good find. This was 50 cents, Soldiers Blue and Gray by James I. Robertson. Why it was 50 cents, I don't know. Everything is fine, the book is fine, but it was 50 cents. Comanche Bondage by Carl Koch Rister. Based on a true story. Maybe more than one true story, I'm not sure. I think it's just one woman's account, but there might be other information in there. This also was 50 cents. Wyatt Earp Speaks. It's like brand new. Written by Wyatt Earp and others. Edited by John Richard Stevens. There's like newspaper articles in here from back in the day, and I guess maybe some first-person accounts. I didn't really look through it too much, but it was 50 cents. Actually, excuse me. It was 50 cents if you bought it by itself, but they were 3 for $1 if you bought them in threes. Obviously, that's why I just said 3 for $1. So this one here, and this, and one other book, which book was that? I don't remember now which one I took, but there was another book that made up the 3 for $1. Maybe it was that World War II book. Might have been that John Ellis book. That might have been the third one. And then the last book that I picked up yesterday, this was $1. It's called Yank, The Story of World War II as Written by the Soldiers. And it's from the editors of Yank, the Army Weekly. And actually, it really looks interesting. There's just a lot of, there's some art in here, illustrations, but just a lot of stories that were sent into, I guess, an Army magazine and reprinted there. So that is it for this book haul. Next Saturday is the Brooklyn Public Library book sale. We'll be going there, and that's like a madhouse. So I don't know. I never know what's going to be, if I'm going to find anything, if someone's going to grab it before I get to it. But we'll go. We'll have fun, hopefully, and see what happens. Till next time. Bye. It's Monday night, August 15th, and time for a book update video. Kind of unexpected. I usually don't do Monday night videos, but I bought a few books today. I want to put them away. I need to make the video first. So I picked up, these are at Strand, I picked up Out of Season by Michael Z. Lewin. He wrote detective novels. Well, at least some of the books are detective novels. And there's a series called the Albert Sampson Mystery Series. It takes place in Indianapolis. And I have a few of them by him already. I always find them pretty cheap and in great condition, so I buy them when I see them. Again, Out of Season by Michael Z. Lewin. And then Lord Hornblower by C.S. Forester. This is book 9 in this series. Not sure how many there are, at least 11. And I have this book, but not with this cover. Then for $1, this was outside, Thornton Wilder, author of Theophilus North. Excellent brand new shape. And last but not least, it looks like some kind of printing I've never seen before of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. It's kind of cool. It's only $1. Nice shape. So that's it for today. I probably won't make another video till the weekend. There's a book sale this weekend. We're going to at a library near where we live, but it might rain, so I'm not sure what's going to happen that day, but we'll see. Till next time, bye. It's Friday, October 19th, and 36 weeks to retirement. So what did I get this week at Strand? The Best of Star Trek from the Magazine for Star Trek Fans, paperback. Exploring the Earth and the Cosmos by Isaac Asimov, hardcover. This was a very nice find. It's like brand new. Alexander Hamilton by Richard Sylla, Sylla, hardcover. $2. And The Revolutionaries, about the Revolutionary War, obviously, hardcover. Also like new. And last, Audrey Hepburn. It's a big softcover book. And this is subtitled An Intimate Collection by Bob Willoughby. And basically it's a lot of photographs from movies. It's a little bit of text, but not too much. And that was $1. Found that today. Yep. So, like I said, 36 weeks to go. Tomorrow we go to the library sale not too far away from where we live. And that's going to be pretty much a madhouse, I think. They have it once a year. But we'll go, hopefully get lucky, and maybe tomorrow night I'll make another video. Bye. It's Saturday night, October 20th, and what do you know, time for another book update video. Today we went to a library book sale. It's an annual sale. It's overcrowded. They don't display the books properly. They don't space things enough. They do have more room, and they just put everything too close together. So you got a lot of people in a small confined space, and it's very hard to look, and everybody's all over each other. It's a little bit aggravating, and the prices really, they're just okay. I mean, we go to a lot of bookstores and libraries, friends of the library type of bookstores, much more spacious, not as crowded, more enjoyable, but this being where it is, it's a kind of expected. But anyway, I did manage to get 10 books, and it came to about $25 for the 10 books. So let's go over what I purchased. My wife bought 2 books. My son didn't get anything. He was playing on his tablet games. He's got so many books, he's not interested in buying more right now. So what did I get? Killers of the Flower Moon by David Grann. And this is subtitled The Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI. Supposed to be a pretty good book. I did read a little bit about this in a novel format. It's very interesting. How the Osage Indians were swindled out of money and land for oil. I already have it, like I said, in hardcover, but this will make a nice reading copy. The Essential Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe. If there's one thing I don't need, it's another Edgar Allan Poe book, but it was $1. And a lot of the compilations don't have all the stories I like in that particular compilation, but this one, I think, had all of them when I was looking at it. Off the top of my head, everything that that I would like to have in an Edgar Allan Poe book was in here. So I thought, what the hell, for $1. The Oregon Trail by Francis Parkman. This was $3, and I already have it, but actually I have two of them. But it was in great condition, the book itself. The dust jacket's missing some pieces, but it's not a big deal to me. Book itself is in great condition, and I wanted it. I don't know why. I just would have felt bad leaving without it. The American Revolution. First-person accounts by the men who shaped our nation. Includes essays, letters, and diary entries by George Washington, Thomas Paine, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and many others. And this is collected and edited by T.J. Stiles, who wrote maybe a couple years ago a book about Custer. But he's a well-known historian, and I like reading first-person accounts, so pick that up. This book, The Way to the Western Sea by David Lavender, it's Lewis and Clark Across the Continent is the subtitle. I have this book, but I thought I had it in softcover, and my wife looked it up on her tablet as I have a list on the computer, and I did find out I had it in hardcover, but it was in really nice shape, and I don't need it, and I bought it. So this is what I deal with every day of my life, buying books I already have. Speaking of books I already have, I have a few of these. The Oregon Trail by Francis Parkman. It's in a slipcase. It's just a very nice edition, and when I see it in great condition, I tend to buy it. This was $1. T.P. Heritage of the Great Plains. This is based on a display that was at the Brooklyn Museum of Art. Was that the name of the museum? I believe so. I'm sure it's on here somewhere. Brooklyn Museum. Maybe it's not of art, but just the Brooklyn Museum. $1. It's in nice shape. Here's something I don't have, but now I do. The Art of Star Trek hardcover. The dust jacket. So I was happy to find that. Actually, that book I couldn't reach it. There were too many people, so I hoping nobody wanted it. And I said, "Excuse me, can someone hand me that book?" And I guess, even if someone wanted it, they probably felt funny saying, "No, I'm taking it." So they handed it to me, and I got it. Audrey 100. I just got an Audrey Hepburn book I showed in my last video, and I got this one. This is a rare and intimate photo collection selected by Audrey Hepburn's family, hardcover. There's some, I don't know, like rubbed spots, but it was $3. In the back, there's a photo that's suitable for framing, and it's still in a sealed, it's hard to see, but there's a seal here, so it was never taken out. A little sealed pocket. And basically this book is just a lot of pictures of Audrey Hepburn. I like her. That's why I bought it. And the last book, I don't have this, but now I do. The Americans on D-Day. A Photographic History of the Normandy Invasion by Martin Morgan. Actually, it's Martin K.A. Morgan. So hardcover, it's like brand new. So that's what I got. My wife got a book on the Beatles that I found for her. Actually, both books I found for her. One on the Beatles, and one that New York World's Fair in 1964 or 65. So that's it for today. Had a great time. Went out to eat afterwards. Went bowling. My family, we were always having a good time. So till next time. Tomorrow I'm going to a local used bookstore. It's kind of like not a great store at all. I almost never go there, like twice a year. But what the hell, I'll go tomorrow. That'll be my trip for the next 6 months there or more. Later. Bye. It's Friday, October 26th, 35 weeks to go to retirement, and here's what I got this week in books. Dodge City by Tom Clavin. This was outside Strand for $2. It's brand new. Didn't really need this, but it's Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. It's a cover I don't have, so 50 cents. This is an auction catalog. It's mostly Frederick Remington's work. Hard to see. There's a picture of a sculpture on the back. It's mostly Frederick Remington, but there is one or two Russell and Schrevogel sculptures in there. And this is something I purchased online on eBay. It was maybe like $6 or less than that with shipping, but it's in really nice shape. It's Journal of Rudolf Friedrich Kurtz, and it's an account of his experiences among fur traders and American Indians on the Mississippi and the Upper Missouri rivers during the years 1846 to 1852. It's funny how this book, when it came out, was $275. It was around 1970 when this particular one was published. Nowadays, this would be like $25 maybe. Prices have gone up, but I was glad to get it. It was very inexpensive, good condition, and that price included shipping for some reason. That's it for this week. No plans this weekend. Next month, maybe we'll go out a couple times for books. I know one we're going to is library sale, a special library sale for the holidays. So hopefully we'll have a good time then. Till next time, bye. Well, hello again. It's Thursday night, November 1st, 2018. I forgot for a moment that it was the beginning of November. This will be the closing video for the month of October, however. So let's get into it. What books did I purchase the last few days since the last video update? James Fenimore Cooper, The Dare Slayer. I don't have that cover. It's kind of cool. A book called 1919, meaning the year, by John Dos Passos. It's about World War I. Since I've been buying a bunch of Jane Austen books, and so far I've only read Northanger Abbey, but it was pretty good. So I thought I would also want to compare it to Jane, I guess it's pronounced Eyre or Eyre. I'm not really sure how you say the last one. Jane Eyre. Charlotte Bronte. It was like brand new, 50 cents. Then I picked up two Woody Allen books. Woody from Manhattan by Julian Fox. And this looks like it was an advanced copy because the cover is different from the regular cover, but it's supposed to be the book as it was published, the inside of the book. It's Conversations with Woody Allen by Eric Lax, L-A-X. So it was like an advanced copy with a different dust jacket. It came with this little slip from the publisher. That's kind of cool. And then the next four books I'm going to show are actually were purchased today in November, but I'm going to include them in my October video. Shh, don't tell anybody. This is The Three Musketeers, but it's an abridged version. It's got pictures on the front and on the inside from the 1973 movie. It came out in December 1973, so most people might think of it as a 1974 movie. But it's quite abridged. It's very skinny. But it's kind of cool. It has like a little photo section inside and pictures on the cover of the different actors in the movie. And this, I didn't realize I had it. I should have really looked at my book list, which I had with me and didn't take out. I know I have it in a soft cover, meaning like a larger size book. But this is the paperback, Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I guess that's how you say her last name. And this was a cool find. It was marked $4, but I got it for $3. I don't know why. The girl just rung it up as $3. It's Madison, his writings. This is from the Library of America. It's hardcover. It's a library discard, but there's like really not much markings in it at all. And it's already had a clear sleeve on it, so for $3, but it was a good purchase. Although I thought I was going to pay $4. There was a few others. There was one by Washington, one by Benjamin Franklin, and I was going to buy more of them, but they were $4. If I knew known the girl was going to charge me 3, I would have probably picked up at least one more. The Best of Warner Brothers. It's a movie book. It's got lots of nice pictures inside, and this was $2. So that's it for the month of October in books. And let's go over what books I read and what movies I watched. Yay! By the way, it's November. Can you believe it? I have 8 months to go to retirement. Wow. Okay, so what books did I read? Horror times 10. This is like a theme month because it's Halloween in October. So I tried to read books related to horror stories. Horror times 10, stories collected by Alden H. Norton. There's a little paperback. I gave it 2.5 stars. Horror times 10. The Fall of the House of Usher and Other Writings by Edgar Allan Poe, edited by David Galloway. I gave that 3.5 stars. The reason is, of course, the Poe stories are great, but there was a lot of other stuff in this book, various letters and different things, and I didn't really read all of those. I read parts of them. I didn't really find it that interesting. Maybe if I was studying him to write a paper about him or a book about him, that would be interesting. And then there was the poetry. I'm just really not into the poetry. I try. I read, The Raven, but I mean, something about that is kind of cool. But overall, the poems just don't really do it for me. But the stories are great. There's quite a few of them. He had quite a few good ones. And then I read Alfred Hitchcock Presents 12 Stories for Late at Night, and I gave that 2.5 stars. Some good stuff in there, and a lot of stories just kind of leave you flat at the end. Okay, so what movies did I watch? I got a whole list here. I'm going to take it in order. Edgar Allan Poe, Buried Alive. That was an American Masters PBS special. That gave that 3.5 out of 5 stars. Casual Encounters with Taran Killam. He was from SNL. Brooklyn Decker, David Arquette. From 2016, that was 3.5 stars I gave. Tales of Terror with Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, Basil Rathbone. 1962. This is supposed to be based on Edgar Allan Poe. I gave it 3 stars. Band-Aid with Zoe Lister-Jones, Brooklyn Decker, Ravi Patel. 4.5 stars. That's from 2017, that movie. That was called Band-Aid. Did I say that? Well, I'm saying it now. Band-Aid. Layer Cake with Daniel Craig, Tom Hardy, Sally Hawkins. I love Sally Hawkins. Gave that 3 stars from 2004. Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow, John Hannah, and John Lynch from 1998. I gave that 5 stars. Sliding Doors. Premature Burial, Ray Milland, 1962. Another Edgar Allan Poe based horror movie. 2 stars. I didn't really care for it. The Curse of the Jade Scorpion, a Woody Allen movie. Helen Hunt, Dan Aykroyd, Wallace Shawn, David Ogden Stiers, Charlize Theron. From 2001, I gave it 4 stars. The Telltale Heart. This was a movie short. It was about 20 minutes long. I'm not sure what year it's from. Probably somewhere in the 60s or late 50s. Or 40s. I don't know. Somewhere in that 40 to 60 date range. Gave that 3 stars. It was very loosely based on the Telltale Heart. Most all the movies that I watched this month that have anything to do with Edgar Allan Poe or claim to have anything to do with Edgar Allan Poe are so loosely based on his stories that they're really just using his name and not really following his stories. I understand they might have to make the story longer for a movie, and they maybe combine different elements from different movies, but overall I feel like they don't really do justice to the stories. The Shooting with Jack Nicholson and Warren Oates, 1966 Western. I gave 3.75 stars, so almost 4 stars. Across the Border with Warren Oates documentary. I gave that 4 stars. Lucky with Harry Dean Stanton, David Lynch, Ron Livingston, Ed Begley Jr., Tom Skerritt. 2017 movie. I gave 4 stars. Ride in the Whirlwind, Jack Nicholson and Cameron Mitchell. Cameron Mitchell, he was from High Chaparral. That was a Western. I gave it 3.75 stars. Possession with Gwyneth Paltrow and a bunch of other people. 2002 movie, 2.5 stars. So she was in a 4-star movie, that's Sliding Doors, and then a 2.5-star movie. The Haunted Palace, Vincent Price, Lon Chaney Jr., Elisha Cook Jr., 1963, another Edgar Allan Poe related movie, and I gave that 3 stars, The Haunted Palace. My Blueberry Nights with Norah Jones, Jude Law, and Natalie Portman. I recall not liking that movie too much, and I did give it 2 stars. Extract with Jason Bateman, Mila Kunis, Kristen Wiig, Ben Affleck, J.K. Simmons, 2009, 3.5 stars. Permission with Rebecca Hall, Gina Gershon, 2017, 3.75 stars. Barry Monday, spelled Munday. Patrick Wilson, Judy Greer, Malcolm McDowell, Billy D. Williams, Sybil Shepherd, 2010, 4 stars. Private Property with Warren Oates. I gave that, it's from 1960, I gave that 4.5 stars, Private Property. See Jane Date, Charisma Carpenter, Holly Marie Combs, David Lipper, Joshua Malina, 2003 movie, 3 stars. See Jane Date. Pit and the Pendulum, Edgar Allan Poe based movie from 1961. Vincent Price was in that. I gave that 2 stars. The Dreamers with Michael Pitt, Eva Green, Louis Garrel, some other people. 2003, 4.5 stars. It was a good movie. The Dreamers. Take a Girl Like You, Haley Mills, Oliver Reed, Noel Harrison, and John Bird from 1970. It was a good movie, 4 stars. Enemy at the Gates, Jude Law, Ed Harris, Rachel Weisz, Joseph Fiennes, Bob Hoskins, Ron Perlman, and Eva Mattes. 2001. I gave that 5 stars, Enemy at the Gates. Now, I understand that it may not be historically accurate, putting that aside because I don't know the real history, just watching it as a movie, simply as a movie, forgetting that it's based on anything real. It's a 5-star movie. Now, comparing it to real history, maybe it's a 2-star or 3-star movie. Girlfriend 19. I gave that 0 stars. I turned it off after about 5-6 minutes. That was called Girlfriend 19. Jack Goes Boating, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I think he also directed that. And let's see who else in that. John Ortiz, Tom McCarthy, Amy Ryan. That's from 2010. I gave that 3 stars. Juliet Naked with Ethan Hawke, Chris O'Dowd, Rose Byrne, Kitty O'Byrne, and Alex Clatworthy from 2018. I gave that 4.5 stars. Juliet Naked. Good movie. Extraordinary Tales. There's another Edgar Allan Poe based movie from 2015. This was an animated movie. It was called Extraordinary Tales. I gave it 2 stars. I did not think it was that good. What else here? Small Time Crooks. Woody Allen, Hugh Grant, Tracy Ullman, John Lovitz, Michael Rappaport. 2000. It came out. There's 3 stars. Two-Lane Blacktop. James Taylor, Warren Oates, Laurie Bird. She Died Young. Dennis Wilson, David Drake. 1971 movie. I gave that 4 stars. Two-Lane Blacktop. Lovebirds with Rhys Darby and Sally Hawkins. Did I mention I really like Sally Hawkins? 2011. 3.75 stars. Mask of the Red Death, Vincent Price, Jane Asher, Hazel Court, and Patrick McGee. 1964 Edgar Allan Poe based movie. I gave that 3 stars, which is pretty good compared to the 2-star movies. Arsenic and Old Lace with Cary Grant. And I can't remember right now the names of the other people in that movie, but it was a very good movie. Arsenic and Old Lace. That was a rewatch from my 15 movie countdown rewatch, and 5 stars for that movie. I recall reading that Cary Grant didn't like that movie so much, but it's great. It's a great movie. I Can Never Be Your Woman. Michelle Pfeiffer, Paul Rudd, Tracy Ullman, and I don't know how to say this girl's name. Saoirse Ronan. 2.75 stars. That came out in 2007. I Can Never Be Your Woman. 2.75 stars. And then a movie called Race with the Devil with Peter Fonda, Warren Oates, Loretta Swit, and Lara Parker from 1975. That was when they made some good movies back in the 70s, especially these kind of movies. 4.5 stars for Race with the Devil. A Taste of Honey, Rita Tushingham from 1961, 4.25 stars. And the last movie that I watched yesterday, Murders in the Rue Morgue with Bela Lugosi from 1932. I gave it 2 stars. That was obviously an Edgar Allan Poe based movie. They changed the story so much it just didn't even pay to call it Murders in the Rue Morgue. Just should have called it, we changed an Edgar Allan Poe story a lot and made a movie. Anyway, that's it for this month. October is over. It is now November. And what does November hold book-wise? We will see in the coming weeks. Wow. And then December is my birthday. Before you know it, it's New Year's. And then 6 months to go. Till next time. Bye.